Pay for millions of federal workers is on the line. The federal government is heading toward a closure that would disrupt many services. The issue is in the House of Representatives, where a number of Republicans are demanding federal spending cuts. CBN Washington correspondent Hillary Powell is at the Capitol tonight with our top story. Hillary, what's the timeline on all of this?
Jenna, it really is a countdown and a shutdown for the countdown. Lawmakers here on Capitol Hill really only have until the weekend to reach a federal funding deal for the new fiscal year, which starts on October 1st. And if an agreement is reached, it would save millions of Americans, including military families, from receiving a pause on their paychecks. But if there is a shutdown, workers deemed essential will have to keep working without getting pay. In North Carolina's picturesque Blue Ridge Parkway, the next paycheck of 150 federal workers depends on congressional lawmakers.
I get annoyed that they can't just get along and compromise.
So do the federal workers who are set to be furloughed without pay if Congress fails to provide funding for the fiscal year starting October 1st. White House spokesperson Karine Jean-Pierre says meeting the deadline is imperative, especially for families using WIC assistance.
We just heard the Secretary of Agriculture lay out what will happen to women and children, 7 million women and children who are part of the WIC program across the country. 7 million. If this shutdown happens. And this is indeed a Republican shutdown.
Congress often relies on a so-called continuing resolution to provide money necessary to fund government offices while budget talks continue. Hardline Republicans are against any stopgap solution, threatening to keep the government shut down until Congress negotiates a dozen separate bills needed to fund the government, an effort that typically takes until December at the earliest. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says holdouts within his own party are starting to make concessions on spending.
So let's get this going. Let's make sure the government stays open while we finish doing our job, passing all the individual bills and getting this done.
Under a shutdown, affected areas include health programs, Social Security, and Medicare, among others. People applying for government services like clinical trials, firearm permits, and passports could also see delays. In 2018, the latest and longest government shutdown lasted 5 weeks under former President Donald Trump's administration. At the time, federal workers like Marilyn Carruthers resorted to paying monthly bills with credit cards.
Our mortgage, our gas, electric, trash, water bills.
Okay, now if a funding agreement is not reached, then a shutdown will officially begin 12:01 a.m. on October 1st if that agreement is not met and that president does not sign it into law. Jenna?
Hillary, what about the presidential pay and Congress in all of this?
It's a good question. The president and members of Congress will continue to work and also continue to get paid. But like millions of people across the country, some workers that even keep this building in Congress going, including housekeepers and some other service members for food services, will not get paid, and they might not even be able to see some of that pay recouped after the shutdown ends. On Capitol Hill, Hillary Powell, CBN News.